welcome back to Davo's. I am making another product video, which it's the 26th, I think. This won't come out for a while because I made a promise to myself that I would get caught up on my daily videos before I released more product type videos. I know, end of the world, everyone's sad. But I've got two probes. I've got this Hanna pH checker, and then I've got my most expensive until I went to Hanna BlueLab pen. And the BlueLab reads 0.2, 0.3 high, so he probably just needs a recalibration. This I bought used off of eBay for like 20, 25 bucks, and it just doesn't read right. It's all over the map, and it's cool. eBay protection, I'm going to get my money back. The seller said, actually, I don't even want it back. And I tried to calibrate it, but I couldn't, because it would go from 1 to 14 and just jump. It never stabilized. So I watched some videos on YouTube about cleaning the probes and different ways to do it. I bought the actual Hanna Cleaning Solution, so I actually have that. And I went to the supermarket and I found an ultra fine or ultra soft toothbrush is what I have. So I'm not just going to soak them in the cleaning solution. I'm actually going to be scrubbing them with a little teeny tiny brush gently. I don't want to damage the probes. Gosh, that would be the worst. So I'm going to get started and get the cleaning solution into, I bought these also. Gosh, what don't I buy off Amazon these days? But I bought these they're mason jars actually, and I got a whole bunch of them from cheap on Amazon. And they have your typical standard mason jar lids. But what's nice about them is they're fat at the bottom and they're fairly weighty. So if you put fluid in them and then you have like a meter or something in them, they're not as likely to tip over as, say, something like this that's straight up and down, or something like this that's plastic and super light. So this hopefully will do me some justice with. Now, granted, today the probe's going to be suspended with my magnetic stirrer. I don't know exactly how you say that, but this is my magnetic stirring device. And I'm going to be lowering it into the cleaning solution into this little jar. Yes, it's not flat bottom, but I tested it with tap water. And of all my different, I have a variety of different magnetic stirring devices. I got the whole kit there. It seems like the cross works the best, followed by a close second to the cross for what I've been mixing. I think different people mixing different stuff, it's going to vary. The little gear wheel. So gear wheel's number 2, cross is number 1. So I am going to drop the cross in now. And the important thing I've noticed when you're doing stirring operations is you got to center your jar. The magnetism will always center the stirring device. You got to center the jar after you drop the magnetic stirring device in there. So anyway, let me go measure out, figure out what it's supposed to be. It says here, I don't have my glasses, 75 milliliters. So I'm going to be putting 75 mLs into there, although I got a feeling it's going to be more than 75 mLs. Oh boy, this doesn't want to come off. Oh boy, really don't want to come off. Okay, we're open. Alright, so it says 75 ml. For me, that's going to be right there. Again, I don't think that's going to be quite enough due to the size of my jar, but we will see. We will see. I want to do 50 ml more than that, so I'm going to do 125, just so I know I can get the electrode in. And I know the electrode on the BlueLab is a little bit higher up. Only problem with using that, it eats up about that much of my cleaning solution right about there. But you're only supposed to clean monthly, so I don't think I'm in a lot of trouble when it comes to this. So let's get things going. Again, I got to center the jar based on the meter. This needs to come a little bit more toward the center, I think. Now, why am I using the magnetic stirring device? That's probably the question someone might have. And it's fairly simple. It kind of goes something like this. So I read the instructions for I read the instructions on here, and it basically says you're supposed to not only soak it for like an hour, but you're supposed to constantly be stirring it. Well, and it doesn't say vigorous stirring, it just says you're supposed to stir it for that amount of time. So considering all of that, I was like, gee, I don't want to have to sit here for an hour and stir this thing. But, you know, I do have a magnetic stirring device. Oh, I'm going to need more than that. Oh, great. I'm going to use half this bottle just to clean some probes. Okay, so now it's in, it's covered. Don't do that at home because it's just a big waste of solution, I'm sure. Anyway, so there's my probe. It's in there. It's going to be stirred. So the reason why I'm using the electric stirrer today is I don't want to have to come back every 5-10 minutes or whatever the frequency is going to be and stir this thing. So it's in the solution now. Interesting, it says they have hydrochloric acid is listed as in the stirring device. So since they have HCl in the stirring device, I'm wondering what it takes to make your own. I'm hoping the Everything Grows person, used to be AKA Grow Your Own Weed at Home, I'm hoping he figures out a way to make a cleaning solution, much like we did our KCl solution. And I might do it too, but he's better than me, so I'm hoping he will come up with the answer. Once this is done and the soaking stirring's done, I'm going to hit it with a brush gently. And another thing to note here, I'm not mixing any solid into water here, so the bottom of this jar is not flat. I know that, but what I tested with water is I can turn it up or turn it low. It doesn't need to be a very high amount. In fact, a low amount is totally fine for this. We don't need any heat. We just need to have it a stirring motion going over the probe, which is, I believe, what we have with this right now, which is great, and it's perfect, and it's not touching the probe. So if all goes well, this will go for the hour or so it needs with a slight gentle stir. Yep, we'll have a slight gentle stir going on our electrode solution with our electrode in there, and then I'm going to rinse and repeat this after I get this guy done. I'm going to do the same thing for the BlueLab. Again, I don't think the BlueLab's dirty, but while I got the cleaning solution out, why not? You know, and I paid, I don't know, 12 bucks for this, and I used about a third of it. Why not clean the other probe? Now, my other devices, why don't I calibrate my AC Infinity, my Hanna, my Gain Express, because they're accurate and they're reading. So if a meter is totally perfect, I don't see a need to clean. This meter's probably broken, but in the case that it's not or it can be revived, I'm going to go through the cleaning procedure. I know the BlueLab's not broken. It just probably needs a recalibration, but I do leave the BlueLab meter outside 24/7. So I'm thinking maybe being left outside made it dirtier, even though the cap's on and it's soaking in KCl the entire time it's outside not being used. Maybe it just needs a good cleaning. So I'm soaking and cleaning both of these one by one. I'm going to mark an hour, and then we'll be back, and then I'll move on to the brush, and then I'll do the next one. And once both those are done, I'll recalibrate and see if I can get these meters reading accurately. So we'll be back in a little bit. See you soon. Okay, we've had about 1 hour and change of our whatever cleaning solution. This stuff. And I was going to soak it in there. And then also, I watched the video again. It says to soak the toothbrush in the cleaning solution. And then, after that is done, we gently clean the probe. Although I can't see, I don't think this comes apart. And the probe is in there. So I got to do the best I can to try to clean that probe with this toothbrush. I'm being gentle. I'm not trying to slam the thing in there. From everything else I watched, info, video-wise, I guess you could build up on these probes over time. And that's kind of what leads to this. I gotta find a way to do this with this. What does that mean? I gotta clip the BlueLab in here somehow. Yeah, and then allow the solution that turns it to continue. That makes no sense. I got to find a way to suspend the BlueLab meter in the cleaning solution so it can twist and turn for stir, I should say. It should stir for about, oh, there we go. I'm close. And it is, I don't think the probe's in though. Looking at it, it's got to go a little deeper. Alright, so now I got a situation where looks like I'm not going to be able to get this. Looks like I'm not going to be able to get it deep enough in there because the BlueLab sticks down. Option A would be add more solution, but I'm not mixing a solid. And since I'm not mixing a solid, anything that goes in that solution and stirs will probably be sufficient. So I can take the smallest of my magnetic stirring things, whatever these are called, the stirring device. Take the smallest one of these. I can take the smallest one of these, what I have, replace the cross, and it should still stir the solution enough. That should be enough to stir the solution. I'm going to go with this. Oh, I dropped it. I'm going to go with the little nugget. So I'm going to dig out the cross. Out comes the cross. In goes the nugget. Put him in there. And he only needs to stir. He doesn't need to stir a lot. Alright, so where's his... this is weird. Okay. Solution is stirring. So since the solution is stirring, I can now take BlueLab. Drop him down about that amount. It looks to me, yep, the probe is submerged. Just because I want to get this right, I will pour a little more in there. Now I know. So the probe's in there. The probe's submerged. It's doing its thing. I guess I got to rinse off the cross wherever he goes. He'll get rinsed. I'll just throw him in that water. Toothbrush I'll also put in that water because I know this is hydrochloric acid diluted, so I don't want it to eat my bristles. Yeah, and that's it. So I'm gonna let this go an hour, but while that is doing its thing, I guess I can slide this over. I can try once again to calibrate the original Hanna meter that was problematic, which was this guy. Interesting enough, I want to turn him on. He used to jump. I couldn't even take a reading from regular water. I'll let you guys be the judge. Look at the meter. I just soaked him for an hour in the clean solution. And look at the reading. I know the water is going to be somewhere around 6, 6.5 typically. I know some of the cleaning solution just went in there, so it's going to dip it from the 6s down a little bit, but it's just dancing. I mean, it looks like it's starting to settle on 6.5, which is a good thing, but it just never settles. Compared to all my other pH meters, this will dance indefinitely. And the problem with, let me say it again. The problem with a pH meter that just dances all over the place and never actually gets to a point where it settles, when that happens, how are you supposed to calibrate it? Because you're going to put it in a solution that's 7.0. You're going to stick that probe in a 7.0, and then how you calibrate this is once it's in the 7.0, there's like knobs on top. And you turn the knob. If it reads like 6.9, you would turn it up to 7 when the probe is sitting in the 7 solution. And that's how you calibrate this type of meter. This meter never stops. It never settles. And since it never settles, there's not really any way to calibrate it. Ironically, it's in the ballpark of what the water is, but I can't calibrate this meter. Those other two VivoSun cheapy $4 meters that I ripped apart just to see the innards, I couldn't calibrate those either. So a meter that you can't calibrate doesn't have much value. Even though this sort of gets you in the ballpark, I can't trust it. So therefore, the guy on eBay, awesome. I don't know the guy's name. I'll try to put it up. The seller is going to get a 5-star from me. Yeah, it was $25, but he's going to refund it to me, which is nice and considerate of him. He's not even going to make me send it back because honestly, who would want this? It just doesn't work. But I've tried. Originally, I cleaned it off. I didn't use the brush, but I did pour cleaning solution over it. That didn't get it. I had to think. I waited a couple days and said, I'm going to buy better cleaning solution, which I did. I bought this. I'm going to soak it for the hour while it's agitated, which it's doing right now. You know, it's being agitated with the stirrer in the cleaning solution, and it just won't settle down. So therefore, this is going to get thrown in the trash, unfortunately. There's just no way to fix it. And there's no warranty. This thing's older than many things. So it's just sad when stuff breaks. But what can I say? Now I've seen a bad pH. Well, this is my third pH meter so far that's failed on me. 2 of the ones were $4. This was $20, $25. But what can you do? All right. BlueLab's going to soak for an hour. I'll calibrate him, and then I'll tell you whether he's spot on after then. I'm going to cut the video now, and we'll come back in an hour. All right. See you soon. I am back. This isn't the video I thought I was going to make because I was going to see if I could recover that Hanna meter, and it's just not recoverable. It won't stabilize. It won't ever stop jumping up and down. It can never stabilize on a reading, so you can never calibrate it. It's in the ballpark, but it's not close enough to use. So getting a refund, guy doesn't even want it back. He says throw it out. I don't blame him. Now here's the surprise. Here's the twist. So I knew my BlueLab meter was off by a little bit because when I brought the Hanna out back to test everything, you know, it wasn't agreeing with the Hanna or the AC Infinity. This is the $100 BlueLab meter. And then it turns out when I brought it in, I did the cleaning of it, and then I went to calibrate it, and it's off by close to a point. So when it was reading 5.9, which is originally what I thought the water was, it was really 4.9. So that can kind of explain why my pH took such a drastic dip out there. The BlueLab was off. And I did calibrate it before first use. So I don't know. But here's the bigger problem. My BlueLab meter appears to be broken. And I know this stuff to be super high quality stuff. But I think it's broken. I got to call BlueLab on Monday. So just so everyone knows what we're working with, I spent the money and I got lab grade NIST certified with the certificate. You can download the PDF. Real 4.0 solution. You know, and I got a gallon of it. And I didn't just get the 4. I got all 3. The 4, the 7, the 10. And then so after this was done soaking and after it went through its swirling in the cleaning solution, which is some type of hydrochloric acid, it looks like diluted to 5%, I took this out and I wanted to calibrate this. And I know this solution is 4 because Hanna and AC Infinity agree. So I'm going to put it in right now. I'm going to turn it on. It reads the 4.0 as 4.5, which is what I kind of discovered. And this is after I cleaned it a second time after it did this. Now I'm going to try to calibrate it, and it's going to error out. And I'm going to show this on my other camera here. So I press and hold the cal button, and it goes to cal, and then it gives you the 4 zeros. And it knows, you can see in the lower corner, it says it's calibrating to 4, and it goes through its thing. And eventually you'll see an error message down where the 4 is, meaning it didn't calibrate. There it is, the ERR. I'll try to do that for the other camera. Let me it's all right. So it's out of cal mode. I'll come up and I'll try to do it up here. So I hit it's in the 4 solution. I hold the cal. All right, so now it's going to try to cal. You can see the lower corner there, it's flashing 4. So it's trying to calibrate 4. And you'll see the light's going to go out, unfortunately. But you'll see it still reads. And where that 4 is, it's going to say ERR. Here it comes. There it is. ERR. Or ER, not ERR, just ER. So my BlueLab meter, I got to call them. Now, I watched another video, and the guy says if you're, now granted, he was doing it with the Vivo Sun, and he said if your Vivo Sun doesn't read, here's what you need to do to revive it. And I took 2 screws out of the top. I already switched the battery, so I got a brand new fresh battery in this thing. And I'm going to store it properly, even if it's screwed up. So there goes my KCL. In goes my BlueLab. So he's going to be stored until Monday. And I'm going to have to call BlueLab and say, hey, what do I do if my meter is out of whack, if it's not working anymore? So this isn't the video I thought I was going to make. I thought this video was going to be more about how to clean these. Cleaning's done. You know, once you let it soak in the solution, you can just dip this in the tap water and gently go over the electrode and then dip the whole thing in tap water, then calibrate, you're done. I wasn't able to do that with either meter today, so this was a double fail. I knew the inexpensive Hanna meter was probably going to be a bust, and I knew I probably wouldn't get to calibrate this because there was problems with it. So that was expected. I was expecting to finish the cleaning and then calibrate the BlueLab. That's not happening because that's bad. While the camera was off, I took out the 4, the 7, the 10. I tested the Hanna and the AC Infinity. They don't need to be calibrated because they read all 3 solutions right on the dot. So, yeah, I got a bad BlueLab. Or I need to do something to fix my BlueLab. I don't know what. The shame of the matter is I lost about a dozen pea plants because I'm assuming, right, I am so far from the expert in gardening. I am no James Priglione or Hucho. I am such a bad gardener. But what I do know, and what it appears is when the pH dipped below 5, and it appears that happened because my meter I was reading was off, it killed the pea plants, but not the basil or the tomatoes or the lettuce. That stuff was fine, but the sub 5.0 pH, the pea plants could not handle it on hydro, and they all basically died. Luckily, before that pH dipped down, and I think it originally dipped down when I started putting a little hydrogen peroxide in, which I saw a video saying to do that once a month. I think the peroxide dropped the pH, and then the BlueLab meter wasn't reading it properly, so I assumed it was 5.9, everything was fine, and then when it did finally dip, it dipped so low, I didn't realize how low it was. I thought 5.5, it's okay, it'll go back up, but no, that wasn't what happened. It was 4.5, and then it went down to 4. So that I lost a dozen pea plants. Not the end of the world. The lucky part of this is before the pH dipped, I grew about 1 pod on half of those plants. So I have about maybe 10 to 20 peas that I can use as seeds and regrow the pea plants. The problem is I don't know if I'm going to have to do those indoor or outdoor of how many weeks are left on our season. I guess I'll try it outdoor, and if they don't finish, I'll bring them in. Yeah, that's what I'll probably try. Maybe I'll even do these peas in buckets this time. That way it'll be much easier to bring them in as opposed to the PVC rail. That's harder to move in the house. Just some thoughts. I'm thinking out loud. It's a shame my pea plants died. I'm now starting to figure out the reasons why that happened. And it doesn't look like I'm wholly responsible for some of these errors, but at the end of the day, it's my garden, right? So it's my responsibility, even if it was equipment failure. So anyway, that's today's meter video. I'm still going to try to get caught up on the dailies, which I'm way behind on those. But I'll try to get those out too. Thanks as always for watching. I hope somebody learned something. I looked on YouTube. I have not seen anybody with a BlueLab pen that has given an error message to date. So if I'm the first person, I might make another video just showing this is when the pen has a problem and put that up. I don't think BlueLab makes bad products. I think I just got unlucky. I did store this outside in a greenhouse, so it wasn't like getting rained on. But I did store it outside. Maybe that was what messed it up. Not sure. I'll find out on Monday when I talk to them. Monday when I talk to them. Thank all my 5 viewers that I have for watching my videos on YouTube and my channel. And have a great weekend. Have a great evening. And this is Dave O out. Goodbye.